and welcome to the stream. We are in the Dryman's Point sector of the galaxy. We are going to be heading towards a fleet carrier and hopefully finding some notable stellar phenomenon and plant life forms along the way. Let's have a quick look at the map to see where we are. Right, so yeah, we are somewhere between these two fleet carriers here, probably somewhere about there. Yeah, please have a look at this map. It is available in the About section on Twitch, and it's also linked to in the YouTube videos. Right, let's make a start. Right, so we've got the route plotted. The fleet carrier seems to be in a nebula.
Frameshift drive charging.
So let's go.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so there are 10 bodies in this system. It looks like that's how many are showing up on my radar. So again, I suspect these have already been discovered by somebody. Let's see what's actually here. Right. Okay, it's saying discovered, but it doesn't say it's been mapped. So, yeah. Right, there are two systems there that could have life on them. Is there anything in this? Yeah, so it's no water woods, so we won't bother scanning the system. We'll just continue on.
Frameshift drive charging.
I have found quite a lot of systems that have had a level 1 scan done within them, which reveals the planets. But very few of those planets have actually been mapped, so it's probably quite an old scan.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Nothing in this system, just a few small planets. Yeah, let's wake my avatar up. It looks like he was sleeping there. But got him going again.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
I've got somebody joined me. Welcome. We are touring the galaxy. We are in Dryman's Point, heading towards a fleet carrier. Hopefully we will find some plant life and notable stellar phenomenon on the way, which we'll go and scan. If you're not familiar with Elite, then I'll show you quickly on the map where we are. Right, so Earth is here. We are currently over here between these two fleet carriers, heading towards this one.
Fuel scoping.
And yeah, what we're looking for is systems with water worlds, ammonia worlds, or Earth-like worlds, and also systems with notable stellar phenomenon. Right, so Earth-like worlds will be around here, ammonia worlds here, and water worlds here. If there were any notable stellar phenomenon, they would be somewhere around there. But this system doesn't have any of those, so we'll just go into the next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
We've got just 6 jumps to get to the next fleet carrier. See what we've got in this system.
System scan complete.
Right, just the
Fuel
one star.
scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so there's no need to actually scan the system because we know there's just a star here. We just need to wait till we've cooled down a little bit, and then we can jump off into the next system. So the temperature is the percentage sign at the side of the radar at the bottom. When that gets below 50, or no, below 60, then we're cool enough to jump. If you try and jump, when you start to jump, it generates a lot of heat to begin with, and if your temperature is in the 80s or 70s or 80s, then you may overheat, causing some damage to the ship. We can see there that the damage to the ship is at 98%.
Fuel scoping.
So that is probably from when I've overheated previously. I don't think I've actually lost my shields since I last was at a fleet carrier, so that'll probably be due to overheating. Right, so in this system we have something just there, right where on the edge of rocky, icy and Earth-like worlds, and that's just an asteroid cluster there. Right, so I'll just check out to see what this is. It's most likely just a rocky body. So I've got to match the pattern of chevrons above the dial at the bottom of the planet. So this is the one, and that's just a rocky, icy world. So it's not an Earth-like world. So we'll just move on to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, so far the tour of the galaxy has taken about 2 months, no, about 4 months rather. It took me about just over 2 months to do the first quarter I'm following the spiral arms of the galaxy from the tip to the centre, then out the opposite side to the tip.
Fuel
I'll then
scoping
have
complete.
a long trek between the tips of the spiral galaxy, and I'll follow the other two arms into the centre again and back out to the edge. So far I'm about halfway around the second arm. Right, so that there is a water world, so we will scan this system, and I suspect these two down here are notable stellar phenomenon, so we will be at least going to visit those and the water world. Right, so that is the notable stellar phenomenon. There's another one of those there behind the star, which I can't see. So yeah, we'll be visiting the water world, which is that one. And hopefully we'll also find some planets with biology on there, which is not that one. Not that one. Alright, so again, these are... Alright, so that is two planets orbiting each other. So that's got no features. So we're looking for the features. So where it says no features or none, then we're not interested in those. That's another notable stellar phenomenon. So there could be 4 of those in this system. I'll zoom out a little bit more. Right, nothing on that planet. Or that one. Alright, so this will be the last planet.
System scan complete.
Right, so there's still one notable stellar phenomenon there which we haven't discovered, but that is behind the sun. I didn't see anything with biological life on it, so I don't think we're going to be actually landing on the planet. No, there aren't any planets here we can land on. So that looks like it's probably the water world, terrestrial water world. So it has been discovered before, but it doesn't look like it's been mapped before. So yeah, I'll be the first person to map it. Let's see if there's a stellar phenomenon closer than that. No, so the water world is the closest. So go and visit that just to scan it, and then we'll go out to the notable stellar phenomenon. A little bit too fast there. I might overshoot it a little bit. Just dipping to drop off a little bit of speed. So that should be close enough to map it. We're on the dark side of it, so we're not seeing a lot of detail. Got a slight blue tinge to its atmosphere.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so that is the planet mapped. let's now go to the closest stellar phenomenon. And have a look at it. Right, it looks like it's going to be, it's nowhere near the star, so it's going to be in a pretty dark region of space. So I'm going to have to turn the lights on, which means we won't get the full effect of them. But yeah, we'll go there and have a look, see what's there. Yeah, just looking now to see if there are any other candidates for terraforming in this system. So they're also worth scanning. So we've got to get to within, I think the last one was about 8 million meters, and then we'll be able to drop out of Super Cruise, and that should drop us within sort of 20 kilometers of the notable stellar phenomenon. Now, if they were heavy, there we go. So it's 10 million meters. Oh, that's dropped us out miles away, but there are a lot of them here. Right, this is probably the largest amount I've seen. Yeah, this is definitely the biggest colony. I think that is worth a screenshot like that. Right. Get into camera mode. Activate my joysticks so that I can. Oh, it seems slightly more matte when you go into camera mode. Oh, there's a shadow there. Right, okay. Right. Let's just get the engines in shot a little bit. Right, so what I'm going to do, I am going to overheat a little bit, and then take the screenshot while I'm cooling down afterwards. There's a shadow of an arm going over us there as they rotate. Alright, so to do that I need to go into silent running. Silent running, there we go. Right, so that is silent running. So I should be overheating pretty soon. And right, so I need to give it a little bit of engines. Alright, the engines are actually make everything else look darker, which I don't want. Right, let's turn off. There we go. Alright, so that was the vents opening up to cool down, which happens when you after you've been silent running. So the temperature is pretty low now, so it's cooled down. Right, let's see what that screenshot looks like. Yeah, that worked quite well. Yeah, it's got the vents open and the heat from inside venting off into space. Right, I shall save that. I'll need the name of the system we're in as the name to save it as. Right, I don't know where we are, so I'll just give that the name of the system. If we're in orbit around
Shields
a planet,
online.
I would use the name of the planet. Right, okay. Right, I suspect the rest of the notable stellar phenomena in the system are the same as this, so I won't go and scan those, but I will go a bit closer to these and scan them. We also have some pods here as well, so how these trees work is they sort of grow pods on the end of the branches. So you see some of the branches have these pods on, some of them don't, and the pods sort of shoot off at some point and they generally accumulate together to make another one, presumably. Right, so we'll scan that. Right, and I'll go and scan one of the pods as well. While we're next to it, I'll just show you what they look like in normal light. Yeah, so point the ship's light at them. And the pods, I need to go into night vision again to be able to see those. The pods occasionally let out a little puff of these yellow floaty things that we can see floating around. There they are. And a little bit of gas as well. So if we get close to one of them, right, so we just saw, yeah, so it's letting out the yellow stuff out the front and a little puff of something out the back as well. so that's in night vision, that's normal light, and that's with the ship's lights on it. Right, okay, so let's get off to the next system now. I'm not going to scan any of the other notable stellar phenomena in this system. I've scanned quite a lot of these already in this sector, and so far I've not seen anything but these. Right, so let's go.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so this system has been visited before, and again it has a water world and notable stellar phenomenon. So yeah, I'm not the first person in this system. And it's got biological life. Alright, so we will be going there. So it's got two forms of biological life on it. If it has one, then it's more than likely just bacteria, in which case I wouldn't be that interested. But it has two, so it's probably bacteria and something else. That one's got four. So yeah, we will be spending quite a bit of time in this system. Right, so there's a few more things to go and find. Oh, I didn't check to see if that had life on it. No, it doesn't. Right, so I think there's a planet behind the star. Yeah, there's something there. Still got to find the water world, and the water world is behind the star as well. Right, okay. Let's have a look to see what we've got so far. Right, so yeah, anything else is going to be further out than that. That has been mapped before, but that must be that must be the water world that we can't see. Right, so none of them got first footfall on there. So yeah, so nobody has been here since Odyssey was released. Right, let's head to the water world. So, and it shows where notable stellar phenomenon is. Right, so the notable stellar phenomenon is the furthest object in the system. Not that far, but yeah, it means it's not going to be terribly light there. It's about three times the distance of the Earth from the Sun, so that's probably around the orbit of Jupiter or Saturn. So yeah, there's not a great deal of sunlight at that distance, so again it's probably not going to show up very well. But we'll map this water world first. Not quite sure how much it's worth, as somebody's already done it. It's probably 50% less than normal, which will be somewhere between not 50%, 33% less than normal. So it'll be somewhere between 2 and 1.5 million. Yeah, it's a very blue water world, and it had a moon too, so we're right next to the moon, so I might as well go ahead and map that.
Surface scan complete.
Alright, the moon just totally vanished and reappeared again. Either that was a very short lunar eclipse or something weird happening. Right. I don't think this was the one that had life on it, but
Surface
as we
scan
were right
by
next to it,
50%.
I'll scan it anyway.
Surface scan complete.
Right, let's now map the rest of the system as we're the other side of the star now. I think the only thing to map is the notable stellar phenomenon. Alright, let's go there next. Yeah, I tried to make the last thing I do in the system land on the planet, because it takes a long time to fly off a planet to go to somewhere else within the system. But if you're lucky enough to be facing in the direction of where you want to jump to next from the planet, you can jump straight away to the next system, saving you a lot of time. So if the last thing you do is go to the planet, then it saves you about a minute or for escaping the gravity well of the planet. Right, so Earth is about 530 light seconds away from the Sun, which is about the same distance as we've got to get to this thing now. As we're going at 38 times the speed of light, it's not going to take us very long to get there. In fact, we're going to overshoot, so need to slow down a little bit before we make the final approach. Now, I suspect these will be the same or similar to those trees we found in the last system. I'm going to overshoot again. problem with approaching these notable stellar phenomenon is when it's not next to a planet is you don't have the slowdown effect of passing a planet like you do normally. Right, so when it gets down to 0.1 light second, it will convert to meters, megameters. There we go, 10 megameters. And we can close. Oh, a red cloud. I think that's worthy of a screenshot. Yeah, so here we see some of them have got 4 arms or trunks, and some of them have got 8. I think it's 8. Yeah, looks like 8. Actually, I'm not sure if the ones with 4 and the ones with 8 are actually different species, or they've just come up. Oh, I've just gained 500,000 credits for Discovery voucher. Right, so that is for the red cloud. Alright, I didn't know I got discovery vouchers for actually discovering clouds. Right, so we see that some of them have got black clouds around them as well. Right, so no new trait. That was a 4-branch one. Let's go and scan an 8-branch one now. See if it's any different. Very hard not to crash into those spiky bits. Right, so notice that it got very dark when we got close to that. They all seem to come with their own black cloud. Right, I can't see any pods here. Let's go to night vision, see if there's any pods around. Yeah, there's some over there. Right, I think I'll take the screenshot from here. Having the lights on doesn't make a great deal of difference from this range. Right, let's go into camera view. Right, have a look around, see. Right, so I think they're probably looking in the best direction. Let's see where the ship is. Oh, there it is. Right, that's probably the best view. Alright, so hide all that. Now, do I want to go? Right, I think that was good enough. Right, so let's take that screenshot, save that screenshot now. Yeah. All right, let's just back it up a bit. Yeah, no, I think the screenshot's just fine. And right, again, it doesn't tell us where we are in the system, so I'll just copy the name of the system itself and save the screenshot of that. Right, oh, I want to go back to that actually. System map. And we'll pick one of those planets with life on to go and look at. So it'll be that one and that one. Let's start with that one. So that hasn't been mapped previously.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
We can just see the edge of the nebula that we're heading towards there. So the fleet carrier we are heading to, I believe, is inside that nebula. And that is it in the background there. Right, so when we scanned the whole system, we noticed that there were 2 planets that had biological life on them. One had 2 forms and one had 3. I'm not sure which one this is. But we'll go and find out. Oh, it's got a polar ice cap. I've always been meaning to visit polar ice cap on a planet, but so far all the planets with life on I've had no life on the polar ice cap, which is probably not surprising.
Surface scan by 50%.
Right, so there are two forms of life on here. One is bacterium, as expected, and the other is stratum. So stratum is normally relatively easy to find. Let's go see if there is a day. Is there a daylight? Oh, right, that is the daylight side. It's still dark. Right, so the blue map we're looking at is a heat map for the stratum. See, there is nothing in the polar region there. Right, so we are looking for a solid turquoise area. Right, there are some over there in the... Oh, there's one there.
Flight engaged.
So, right, so I normally look for an area of, between dawn and dusk to get a nice screenshot, or to increase the chances of getting a nice screenshot. But we are heading to this crater down here. Right, so we want a flat region. That bit over there looks relatively flat, so we'll aim towards that. So we've just dropped below the edge of the crater horizon. So basically every direction is upwards. Let's turn towards the sun. See if we get a nice sunrise or sunset, depending on whether we're at dawn or dusk. It's a greeny orange sky. Right, landing gear down.
Landing gear deployed.
And it's looking relatively flat here. I can't imagine finding somewhere to land is going to be tricky. Perfect landing, shields not taking a single percentage of damage. Right, get into the buggy.
No gravity warning.
Right, so stratum looks like pillows on the ground, and they're normally sort of green or yellow. So let's go and see what we can find. I don't imagine we'll have to go very far. There they are. They are the green brainy ones. Look like a brain. Actually, I've just had an idea. Right, I'm going to get back in the ship. I'm going to change my gun to the rocket launcher. Put a few explosions in the screenshots. Right, so change the loadout. Oh, no, not choosing the loadout. I'm going to manage the loadout. Right, so we're in the Explorer suit, and let's change the primary weapon to the rocket launcher. There we go. Oh, we've got cosmetics for the rocket launcher. What's that like? Green camo. Stripey. Red. And victory. Alright, how much is the green camo? 5,000, right. Oh. Yeah, I don't intend to use a rocket launcher a lot, so I'll have to get a lot of money up before I put that on. Oh, it didn't. Right. Equip weapon here. Right. Let's see what we can do with a rocket launcher and a screenshot. Right. Right. Aim it straight up. Oh, it explodes high up. Right. Right. So we need to fire the weapon, take the screenshot when it explodes. So let's give that a go. Right. I think that worked. Let's try and make it a little bit closer. Quite like the view we had just there. Alright, let's try that again. I should just up a little bit. Angle a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit closer. And right, save that. Perfect timing on the screenshot. Right, so I'll save the screenshot with the name of the planet we're on. Alright, let's go and find two more stratum to scan. So for stratum, I've got to check what kind it is. I think we have to go 500 meters between scans. There's a lot of horrible pointy rocks around here.
Chassis integrity compromised.
Just the kind of rocks you don't want to land on. Right, so since we've landed, looks like the sun has... Oh, it's got much darker. On quite a high G planet as well, so it's 3.8 G. Majority of the planets I land on are around 0.1 G, so not 3.8, 0.38. Right, so we need to find more stratum somewhere around here. A lot harder to find in the dark than it is. There we go, there's some. Yeah, particularly when there's lots of rocks around, which in night vision look very similar. Right, so this is, what kind is it? I can't read what that says. Lime. Tectonica lime. Stratum. So I found one of those before. Right, hello. Someone's just joined me. I am driving around on a planet looking for stratum. We are in the Dryman Points sector of the galaxy. Stratum is a sort of brain. Oh, it looks like a brain. There we go. There's one there. Looks like a small or a large brain growing out of the ground. There's a new film just been released on Amazon Prime that I watched yesterday, and that is a sci-fi starring Brad Pitt. And in there, they were driving around on the moon in moon buggies, having a fight between moon buggies. So it's worth a watch. It's sort of very similar to 2001. Right, so I've now scanned free on this planet. There is another planet in this system with 4 forms of life to go and scan. So I'm going to go over to that planet now. Oh, crashed into the ship. So let's board the ship. Yeah, we stopped in this sector because, in this system because there is a water world, and we've also just scanned some notable stellar phenomenon, which was in a bright red cloud in space.
Power plant capacity exceeded. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, let's set a course for the other planet while we're breaking the orbit of this one. Yeah, so that was the water world we've just scanned, and this is where we'll go next. So yeah, so somebody scanned this system before me, but they haven't mapped these planets. So I got the first footfall on there, so I'm probably the first person in this system since Odyssey came out, which means I'll get the 100% bonus for being the first person to scan the plants. I just need to get a little bit higher before we turn to the other planet. There we go, 243 light seconds away. It looks like it has a moon. So I will scan the moon as well when we get there. Alright, so the planet we're going to is the moon. So we'll scan the main planet first, and then go and scan the moon. Let's scan the main planet now. Going to get closer to it than we have to, because we're going to have to fly away from it, and that will mean it'll take longer to get away from.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yeah, so when we scanned the system, we discovered that this 2 planets with life on, one had 2 forms, one had 4 forms. We've just done the one with 2, so this must be the one with 4. As probes are flying towards it, we'll get a little bit closer.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, so we have bacterium, fungoida, stratum again, and tussock. So I imagine the fungoida and tussock will be together, and the stratum will be in the places where they are not. Right, so let's choose fungoida first. That's normally the hardest one to find. So we are looking for a solid turquoise colour, or cyan maybe, just like those. They look.
Orbital flight engaged.
All right. Have to. Right, so they look a little bit mountainous, but shouldn't be too bad. Right, I think that plateau there looks like it's going to be big enough. So, lose a bit of altitude and put the landing gear down. Another on top of that.
Landing gear deployed.
Right, so this plateau is not quite as flat as it looked from high up, but it shouldn't have any problem landing here. Again, this is a much lower G planet than the last one we landed at, so landing is less of a problem, or we didn't do quite so perfectly as last time.
No
Right,
gravity
so
warning.
fungoida can generally be seen from a long way away. Looks like we've got some tussock there underneath the ship, so we'll do that last. But fungoida are normally normally appear in huge clumps. So again, that's tussock there with flying over now. Yeah, we can normally see the fungoids from quite a long way off. And again, they're normally like hilly areas, so let's go and have a look in some of these valleys. Alright, that's a big hole I don't want to fall down. I've lost one SRV by falling down holes before. Looks like I'm going to fall down this one as well. Oh, right. Oh, I think I can drive back up again. It's going to hurt a little bit though. Right. Oh, there's a mining signal over there. It's too far away to worry about. Let's select the ship so we know how far away it is. There's plenty of flat land around here, so it doesn't matter too much if the ship takes off. It should be able to land again. Right, let's drive back up that mountain. Right, still no signs of fungoids. Oh, no, that's more tussock. Yeah, very deep canyons. Right, still no sign of fungoids. Ah, what's that over there? Alright, that is either fungoids or some very strange standing stones. Oh, I lost them, where are they? Right, can't see where they are now. Right, I can get out and have a fly around in the flight suit. Fly a little bit higher in the flight suit than you can in the SRV. But you can't fly for so long. Don't know what that was I just saw, but it... Alright, I think it was probably... Oh, that's good parking. I think it was probably just more tussock. That's tussock as well. Right, well, I can see a long way up here. No signs of fungoid. I think what I'm going to do is we'll get the tussock, go back to the ship and fly around a bit, find some from the ship. Right, just a second. I'm just going to have to go for a second. Hi Paul, I'm back. How's it going? Right. I was looking for two things in this location. I've given up on the fungoids. I'm just going to get the grass and fly around and look for fungoids. Right, that is Camptus Green. Was that you popping in and out of the stream earlier, or was that somebody else? Right. Oh, fungoida. That's what I was looking for in the first place.
Chassis integrity
Right.
compromised.
Let's finish the grass. Don't need to go far to get the grass. Right, so it is it's a smaller fungoida, which can't be seen from quite so far away. Alright, let's find some grass. Oh, it's slightly different colour to ones I've found previously. Right, some grass there. Hopefully that's far enough from the last lot. I might have seen some bacteria down there as well. Right, so that's the three samples of grass that we need. Now, I think I saw some bacteria around there. No, I didn't. Right, so let's go and get some of these fungoida. This is quite a big patch. I might be able to get two from the same patch if I pick ones far enough apart. Alright, so I'm not sure if I've scanned these ones before, so let's see what the name is. Galtia Green. Yeah, I found two lots of these before. And we have to go 300 meters between samples. I don't think this patch is quite 300 meters across. Right, have I done a screenshot on this planet? I don't think I have. I think this could be a good opportunity. Right, so the ship is over there. Right, let's try get a screenshot from here. Oh, that looks pretty good, just like that, which isn't what I was going to do at all. Right, what I was going to do is go over to this grass. Right, so I think that'll be the screenshot. So yeah, we're seeing the sunlight shining through the fungoidea on one side and it being reflected from the outside, which is green, on the other side. Ah, you're back, Paul. Yeah, just taking a screenshot. This planet has 4 forms of life on it. And that was the first time I'd done a screenshot on this planet. I have found some notable stellar phenomenon, which I don't think I put in a screenshot in the Twitter feed today. But if you look at my screenshot in the Twitter feed from yesterday, that is some of the pods from the notable stellar phenomenon. Right. So what system or what's the planet that we're around at the moment? Right, so I'm just saving the screenshot. Right, so I've got to go and find some more of these fungoidea now, which now I know what I'm looking for, because I was actually looking for a different type. Where's the SLV gone? Right, so these are basically a small fries type plant. Look like a small McDonald's fries if fries were orange and wiggly. Right, let's head off in that direction. We are on a plateau and we've got big holes all around us. But now I know what we're looking for. Should be a little bit easier to find them. So that's tussock there. There's some in front of us. Yeah, a lot of the plants have subsurface colouring. So again, we see it with the light behind us. Let's turn my light on as well. They look quite green. And if we go around the other side, I shall turn my light off. The light shining through it is being picked up and is being turned orange. Right, scan that. Right, so we can still go quite a long way from the ship before it will take off. That's grass over there. Right, I think that might be more in front. Yeah. you seen the stream since I got the new outfit, Paul? I got the, I think it's called the Plainsman outfit. The hat's like the one you got in Elder Scrolls. I'll get a sort of Chewbacca ammo belt and an Indiana Jones hat and a green, a long green coat. And a sort of poncho type thing. Oh, notice I've got one silver arm and one green arm. You get the silver ones from doing when you go through the ranks. In mercenary, through the mercenary ranks. Right, so that should be complete now. Yep. Right, so back to the ship, take off, and we'll land somewhere else on the planet. Probably somewhere a little bit flatter than this to find the stratum. Trying to point it in the right direction. There we go. Get a bit of altitude and fly back. I'm flying, but not necessarily in the direction I want it to be in. Right, board the ship.
Power plant capacity exceeded.
So I just need to fly up into orbit. Change the mapping of what we're searching for, and then fly back again.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, that moon.
4, 3, 2.
That's actually not the moon. That's the main planet that we're orbiting. Right, let's change it to stratum. There we go. And head back down. I've already got a screenshot on this planet, so it doesn't matter whether it's dark or night or day. Oh, nice sort of bluey atmosphere. You done any more in Elder Scrolls, Paul? I did a battle zone after you left on Friday. It's got me a little bit further towards that. Is it the assassins? Not assassins. I can't remember what it is now. The skill that gets you the extra speed on the horse. But it's still at 4, and I've still got to get to 9. So yeah, still quite a long way to go on that. I actually managed to kill somebody in the battle zone. But yeah, everybody else seemed to do a lot better than me. And I wasn't on the losing team. But I wasn't on the winning team either. XP 297. Oh, yeah. I was thinking experience points. You mean championship points? Yeah. Right, let's get out in the ship. Yeah, I'm still about 86. I'm totally out of those crown experience scrolls, so skinning up is a little bit slower than it was before.
No gravity warning.
Oh, I did an Assassin's Guild mission as well. I'm not sure if that got me anywhere in the Assassin's Guild. Not the Assassin's Guild, the Fighters Guild.
Ship dismissed.
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Doesn't matter, I can call it back. Right, so this is a different kind of stratum to the last planet we're on. It still looks like brains, but totally different pattern, and they're not the sort of veiny brains. These are more normal shaped brains. So these are peeler slime. That's quite a common type. Right, so I've got to go and find 2 more of those. So is the Undaunted a guild, or was that a mission line?
Ship recalled.
Alright, so I have to go 500 meters between stratum. Alright, let's get out and scan these. Right, okay. Yeah, there's a guy on the beach in the place where I do all the, or where my house is, and he gives away missions for battlegrounds. The first mission was just to do one battleground, but I've just picked up another one to do 5 battlegrounds. Yeah. Oh, there's some bacteria. Ah, bacteria as well. I think let's land on that bacteria. And I will, as there's a lot of it around, I'll pick up the bacteria on this planet as well. From a pledge from an NCP. What's a pledge? Is that just like just a mission? Yeah, okay. Right, insufficient distance. How far was the last one away? Right, insufficient distance. Right, that is 800 away. Where's the other one? 400. Right, okay. Right, so that's 400 in that direction. So these ones over here should be far enough away. I like the shadow when you're flying. It's like you're swimming. Alright, so back to the SRV. Got to admit, there are some really nice planets in Odyssey, even if the frame rate is a little bit on the low side. What am I getting at the moment? 23 frames a second. Right, it's one of these where I have to hover a little bit too. Yeah, you have to hover about a foot off the ground on some of them to scan them, which makes it interesting. Right, so just drive around a bit. So again, I need to go 500 meters to get another type of bacteria. The easiest way to spot those is from high up. There's some just there. That should have been 500 meters. Don't need to do the hovering thing here. Yeah, so I'm flying along, I'm looking for a piece of ground that's going to kick me in the air. When I find that, I boost as well to get the most amount of altitude. We're looking for the grey spots on the ground. There's one. It's right, so that is now all 4 types of plant on this planet scanned. I think we're only about 5 jumps away from the next fleet carrier. Yep, so that's complete. Back to the ship. Fly bin sideways there.
Power plant capacity
Right.
exceeded.
So that's the last thing in this system we wanted to do. So the next planet on the next system is the far side of the planet, so we're going to have to go into orbit and fly around a bit.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yeah, so we're going to get a bit of altitude here, get up above the OC line. I'm not quite sure what OC stands for. And then I think the OC line is where we would have dropped out of Super Cruise when we're coming in. But yeah, that means we'll be going a lot faster after that, and then we'll fly around the planet to find
Frameshift
Oh, we
drive
can do it straight away.
charging.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a nebula there around where we're going, so I'm pretty sure where we're heading to is in the middle of that nebula. Only one bright star in that direction. We are quite close to the edge of the galaxy again. In fact, this sector is on the edge of the galaxy. But it's not on. We're nowhere near the tip yet. We're about halfway around from the center to the tip.
System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete.
Right, nothing in there. Right,
Frameshift drive
so it
charging.
is. Ah, the fleet carrier's in the next system. So I imagine that will be somewhere in the heart of that nebula.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Looks like it has a neutron star in the centre of it, judging by how bright that is, or a massive white giant. And it's a neutron star with a very wide cone. Alright, what else is in the system? Right, okay, so it's the neutron star, white dwarf, and it's got a huge cone on it. And what is that? That is just a high metal content world. Right, so apart from the star, there's nothing here. So we'll just head straight to the fleet carrier. Well, the fleet carrier is quite close to the star as well, so that should have a nice view.
Warning. Temperature critical. Hull integrity compromised.
Just crashed into the star. It's really hard to work out where the edge of those stars are. I didn't see any sign of a yellow line around that, and it didn't look like it was near the cone either. Right, let's just cool down and then fly the long way around.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Warning. Temperature critical. Warning. Taking heat damage.
It's getting a bit hot here. Alright, so yeah, this fleet carrier is going to have a good view of those twin suns. And that, yeah, that's one of the most spectacular cones I've seen. Oh, I've overshot, I think. No, I haven't. Oh, that fleet carrier suddenly popped into existence.
Docking permission before approaching a landing pad.
Right, can I see a nameplate? Yep, there's the nameplate. DSS Dryman's Hope. A pink fleet carrier.
You're loitering over the pads, Commander. Move your vessel or we will move it by force.
Right, okay, this is the type of ship that opens fires on you. Alright, let's book. Let's request docking. I don't want it to shoot me again.
Permission granted. Check your landing pad assignment.
Right, I think I'm going to land. I'll just move the camera over there, take the screenshot. No, that isn't going to work. I need the lights on the. I need the lights on the ship to illuminate the sign.
Where is your landing gear, Commander?
Right. Right. Let's find a good point to do a screenshot. Right, let's get the sun in that gap there. Right, we'll go with that. Right, okay, that's a screenshot, so I'll save that. First pink fleet carrier I've seen. Right, that's the fleet carrier picture saved. Right, now we'll go and land and refuel the SRVs. Paul, they're going to add concourses to fleet carriers, and I think they'll possibly be at the front in like that bit there, or oh, this one doesn't have one at the back. Yeah, so it'll be in the raised bit that's above the platforms, so like the flight control tower. But yeah, you'll be able to watch the fleet carrier as it goes through the warp. Right, I've got the landing gear already. Right, so refuel,
Docking success.
repair.
Command shutdown. Welcome, Commander.
Alright, I think I will yeah, we'll do the ship integrity. I'll let the ship paint job deteriorate for a little bit more. Right, so that's that fleet carrier.
Clamps have released. Launch is go.
Landing gear retracted.
Right, I now need to find a new destination. Right, so to the map. Right, show you the map as well. Right, so we have just departed this fleet carrier here. We're going to be heading towards this one. But let's have a look at the full data to see if there's anything interesting between the two locations.
Signing off.
Right, so yeah, so we're going between these two fleet carriers here. Let's see what else is in this region. Just waiting for that data to load. Yeah, so that is the nebula we're in at the moment. Right, historical and right, it's a historical point of interest between those two fleet carriers. I shall go and visit that. Alright, so this is why we've found so many systems that have been scanned. There's quite heavy usage between those two, so I'm going to try and go preferably off to this side a little bit. Right, so that was an archived one, I think. Right, so again, archived ones that are probably not there anymore. Right, let's turn all those off and turn planetary nebula on. I don't think there are a great amount of planetary nebula. There is one. Right. Yeah, let's head towards that then. Yeah, we'll head towards that one there. Alright, it's being slow. I should be able to select that text. No, it's not having it. Right, there we go. Can we select the text? There we go, that's the text selected. Right, so back to the game. And to the galaxy map. That's a blue planetary nebula. Right, plot a route to there. Right, 58 jumps, so that is about an hour and 10 minutes. Definitely won't be reaching there in this stream, but we will head off towards it. Yeah, they're not introduced walking around yet. That will be in the next update in fleet carriers, but you can walk around megaships now. I'm not sure if you've actually seen a megaship.
Frameshift drive charging.
You get a few megaships around when there are incidents, and there are emergency evacuation megaships, which I think you can't walk around. But yeah, it's going to be really useful because that means you can gather with all your friends on the fleet carrier, and then all get out and get into the same ship to fly down to the surface, which means you can use a fleet carrier as your base for a for doing that kind of stuff. Although you still have to go to the
Fuel scoping.
I imagine you'd still have to go to the local stations to pick up missions.
Fuel scoping complete.
Right, so yeah, nothing in this system. Let's head off to the next one.
Frameshift drive charging.
Screen the system now.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoping complete.
Yeah, so nothing here.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scoping. System scan complete.
Right, so it's just the star in this system. No need to look at it, see if we see what's in the system.
Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.
Again, nothing in this system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete.
Another empty system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Fuel scoping. System scan complete. Fuel scoping complete. Frameshift drive charging.
Yeah, a lot of empty systems now, so you get still not that close to the edge of the galaxy.
Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Yeah, we're basically travelling straight down the middle of the spiral arm at the moment. So yeah, I'd have thought there'd be a few more. Oh, and a neutron star.
Hull integrity compromised.
I crashed into it again without seeing the blue circle that's supposed to warn you you're getting too close. I wonder if I can jump straight to the next system.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage. Warning, temperature critical. Warning, taking heat damage.
Right, so it looks like we're in a system that has been visited before. That could have life on it, and that one as well. But I am not seeing a water world. Yeah, let's just go on to the next system.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, scoping. Fuel scoping complete. System scan complete.
I know let's put on some news. It's going to take a couple of minutes to get there. I've not listened to any news for a while, although it's not going to take that long.
Manhunt for Theta 7 escalates. Pilots Federation alert. The affiliated counter-terrorism unit has acquired an encrypted message that may reveal Theta 7's location. ACT successfully captured most of the bomb-making engineers known as Theta Group and has now prioritized hunting down the NMLA's de facto leader. This latest breakthrough was explained by Captain Milo Castile. Theta Group managed to delete most of their data prior to capture, but we retrieved a short message that they received on the 31st of July. At this point, most of Theta Group were being harbored by neo-Marlinist sympathizers within the Marlinist colonies, but Theta 7 and his closest aides had fled to an unknown destination. Unfortunately, the message has been encrypted using a pre-arranged cipher key, without which its contents are unreadable. It is unclear why this wasn't transmitted via the NMLA's Dark Comms network, which remains undetectable despite our best efforts. As it's possible that this was sent by Theta 7, we welcome any assistance from the galactic community in decoding it. This ruthless terrorist must be tracked down before he can take more innocent lives. ACT has requested that all news feeds publish the encrypted message. There is a substantial reward on offer for the first person to submit a correctly deciphered version of this message to ACT.
That sounds like an
Aegis
interesting
renegades attack Salvation's allies.
community goal
Pilots
type thing.
Federation alert. A rogue Aegis defense force has initiated conflict with Taurus Mining Ventures in the T-Tauri system. The megaship Musashi is commanded by Aegis's chief military liaison Admiral Aidan Tanner, who made this announcement. The Hindmine asteroid base contains proof that Salvation's unlicensed anti-Xeno weapon is intentionally designed to provoke the Thargoids, and therefore endangers us all. As Taurus Mining Ventures refuses to cooperate, we have no choice but to obtain the evidence by force. This may be our only opportunity to discover Salvation's true ambitions. I urge all independent pilots who have fought alongside Aegis to help us complete this vital mission. Patience Middleton, a spokesperson for Taurus Mining Ventures, responded. This is an illegal attack that jeopardizes the important work we are undertaking on behalf of Salvation. It is in the galactic community's interests to defend our corporate headquarters. Aegis officially stated that Admiral Tanner is acting on his own authority, and that the Musashi's presence in the T-Tauri system is in direct violation of orders. Despite this, there are reports that Tanner has tacit support from many members of Aegis who disagree with the public inquiry that has suspended its operations. Colonial.
Right, okay, so that was 2 news articles. So interesting one there about a code that needs decoding, and another one about Salvation, who's a strange character involved with War on the Thargoids, and they reckon they've got proof that he's deliberately provoking Thargoids. So yeah, that sounds interesting. Right, here we are at the notable stellar phenomenon. We've got a little bit of a cloud. Right. Yeah, same things as the last few notable stellar phenomenon. But actually, it's the same things as all the notable stellar phenomena we've found so far in this sector of the galaxy. So I'll just go and scan one. We've got pods there in the middle as well, so I'll go and scan one in some pods. And then we will go and head off to the the water world and scan that as well. If you're still there, Paul, have you seen? I don't think you've seen notable stellar phenomenon before. They are plants that grow in space, or most of them are. Some of them are crystalline structures. Right, these things here are the pods, which are like massive seeds. if we watch it for long enough, it will emit some yellow stuff from the front. Let's scan it. Right, so I've got Codex 2000 credits for scanning it. So if you watch it for a little while, let's turn the lights on. There we go. It's emitting the orange, the yellow stuff from the front in a little burst. And that's going to scan one of the trees. Now, these things are huge. I'll go to the external view so you can see how big they are compared to the ship. Yeah, so each one of those arms is about as long as an anaconda, a little bit longer than an anaconda. And they're about, I don't know, anaconda's about the length of a football field. Right, okay, let's go and scan the water world now.
Cannot comply. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Just get in the name of this system.
Surface scan by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Right, that's this system done. Off to the next one.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Right, that looks like another white giant or neutron star. So I throttled down so we don't crash into it. It is another neutron star.
System scan complete.
Alright, so there's nothing in the system. Alright,
Frameshift drive charging.
I'm going to try and jump through the cone of the star. So wait for it to get ready,
Engage.
throttle up.
3, 2, 1. Engage.
Yep, so avoided crashing into that one, nothing in the system.
Fuel scoping. Fuel scoop disengaged.
Alright, nothing in the system.
Frameshift drive charging.
Right, I think I'm going to do a few more jumps and then call this stream to an end. I've been streaming now for over 2.5 hours,
2,
and I've got to go away and watch the sprint race for the qualifying for the Grand Prix and the Grand Prix as well, neither of which I've seen yet. I'm not 100% sure the Grand Prix is recorded, but I think it'll probably start recording by the time the sprint race
fuel
is
scoping.
finished.
Fuel scoping complete.
Oh, we've got notable stellar phenomenon in this system, and no planets. Right, okay. Let's just scan the system. There's only 7 planets. Not going to take long. I'll go and visit one of the notable stellar phenomenon and then call it a day. Alright, it's looking like these might be around a secondary star again. Geological life activity.
System scan complete.
Right, let's now just go to the nearest of those, which is just 4,000 light seconds away. Have a look at the system map while we're on the way. Yeah, they're all around the secondary star. No water worlds, no planets worth scanning. Somebody else has just joined. Welcome to the end of the stream. We are touring the galaxy. I've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes almost. So far we've discovered about four systems with notable stellar phenomenon in. One planet with 4 forms of plant life on it, and another planet with 2 forms of plant life in the same system, and a few water worlds. But yeah, we're just going to go and visit this notable stellar phenomenon, take a screenshot if there's enough light in that location. A lot of them are quite dark. And then I'll call the stream to an end. Right. I can't see. It doesn't look like. Oh, it might be near a planet. We're edge on at the moment. Let's go down a little bit. Yeah, I still can't see where it is relative to the sun. It does look like we're heading towards that planet there. Sometimes a notable stellar phenomenon is in the rings. That's good for a screenshot. There's one there that's right next to the planet. Alright, so that planet... Well, that planet doesn't have rings. Well, let's go to the one that's a little bit closer to the sun. Or is that way past the other side? Oh, that's way past the other side of the sun. Alright, now we'll head back to the one we're closest to. Yes, as you're flying around, occasionally everything goes dark. Right, I overshot that by 100 kilometers. So back into Super Cruise.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2.
Not 100 kilometers? Yeah, 1,000 kilometers. Right, okay. Something weird happening here. Right, I was heading towards it. Got to within 1,000,000 kilometers.
Ready to engage.
When I dropped out, I was further away than I was when I...
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Okay, so that is 600, 500, 400 kilometers away. Drop out. Oh, still 400 kilometers away. What is happening here? And now I'm 1,000,000 kilometers away. What the hell is happening?
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right, let's slow right down. Let's just make sure that it isn't the other side of the planet. Right. Right, it's orbiting the planet quite quickly. Right, I don't know what's happening, but I seem to be getting further away from it. Right, so I'm going to give up on that one. I'm not moving, and yet its distance is moving away from me. If I keep going, it'll be on the other side of the planet. Right, let's go and pick one of the other ones.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3,
Yeah, first time I've ever seen that.
engage.
Drop out of Super Cruise within 100 kilometers or something, and suddenly it is a megameter away. I've got some solar activity there, a couple of solar flares on the edge of the disk. Right, so it looks like we're heading to somewhere the other side of the sun. Can I overshoot that, I think? Let's dip a little bit. These are nice and close to the sun, so plenty of opportunity for nice screenshots, and they should be well lit. Although last time I tried this, they were in a cloud, and even though it's very close to the sun, the sun was dimmed considerably. Right. So that cloud is very dependent on what angle you're viewing it from. Right, same kind of notable stellar phenomenon. Let's turn on. Oh, there's a lot of them. It's quite a big field. Isn't any pods yet? And again, as I said, when you point at the sun, it is slightly darkened by the clouds. So there are pods here. There's a huge clump over there, and another clump there. Right, let's go and scan this one. These appear to be all red in colour. Go and scan these pods. No new traits found. Oh, that one's shooting off its yellow stuff. Right. Should be able to get a nice screenshot here somewhere. Let's try and find something that I haven't done before. Yeah, these have got dark clouds around them. So it really dims the sun. I don't think all of them have dark clouds around them. Or do they? No, they all have a dark cloud around them. Yeah, they've all got dark clouds around them. Right, so a black cloud with lots of the yellow bits in them. Alright. Right. Let's go to the camera view. Alright. Right, I'll wait for one of those big arms to point straight at me again, and I'll take another screenshot of that. Right, so it looks like that arm's coming straight up. Yeah, I'll go with that. Just save that. Right, let's copy the name of the star that we're around. Oh, we're actually in an asteroid belt at the moment. Right, okay, so that's that saved. Right, I'm going to end the stream at that point. So we'll just do a quick review of where we are in the map. Right, so go to the back to the map. Right, so we are we went to this fleet carrier. We started near here, and we're working towards here. We've got 47 more jumps to go, so we're probably somewhere around there at the moment. So 47 is about 2/5. Oh, sorry, about 4/5 of to go between here and here, and then we'll continue around towards Beagle Point. Right, so let me see, as we've got people watching, to see if there's anybody else watching, and I'll go and raid them. Right, so nobody I'm following is streaming at the moment. Right, so right, I can see one person is streaming. We'll go and raid Kazuma G Sheep. I don't know what their streamers are like, but they are streaming Elite Dangerous. So here we go. Right, okay, right now, let's go. I'm not sure if that worked or not, but I'm going to end my stream. Right, I don't know if that worked or not. You're still watching, Paul? How do raids work? Did that work? How do I go there? Right, I'm not sure if that worked or not, but I'm going to stop my stream either way.